Hey guys, in this video, I want to talk about the creator business model. So the biggest question that most people ask me is, what is the best business model? I used to ask this question back then, when I used to struggle. I watched a lot of YouTube content and, as I talk to different people have different ideas. Some people say, oh, you got to try software because people are making tons of money with subscriptions or selling digital products. Sounds like a great idea, right? Because you're making 90% of profit margins and there's no time for production. You don't have to store any physical goods. So great ideas, right? Or maybe start a newsletter. If you guys know the Rundown AI, it's a newsletter that makes $200,000 a month in the AI space. Or maybe affiliate marketing. You get commissions by just promoting other people's products. So many ideas, and all of these sound like great businesses to run. But the problem is I'm just one person, right? It's impossible to start all these businesses individually by just one person. But what if I told you that you could do all these things all at once by just being a creator? So let me explain. I like to think of the creator business model like Disneyland. So here's a map of the Disney theme park, or at least my version of it. So on the left side is where you enter the park, and on the right side here is where you exit, right? Now, this is the business model of Disney and how they make money. So imagine you're going to Disneyland today, right? So before you even get to the park, you got to pay for parking, right? And then you pay for the tickets at entrance. And once you're in, oftentimes the lines to the rides are super long. So they make you pay more to cut the line with something called Fast Pass, right? And then you pay for lunch, maybe coffee or snacks in the afternoon. And before you leave, they make you buy some merchandise. And then when you leave the park, you might stay at a Disney hotel where you pay for the room and probably a meal. And then the next morning, you probably go to the second theme park. The whole process starts again. And once you do all that, when you get home, you're probably going to subscribe to something called Disney Plus, right? So as you can see, Disney is not in the business of selling all these products or services individually, but they're all under one brand. So one business and multiple sources of income. And that's exactly how I think of the creator business. So you start by making free YouTube videos to help people with a specific problem. And once you have an audience, they'll buy your digital products. They subscribe to your newsletter, which makes money. You can make money through affiliate marketing. You can make money through paid memberships, brand sponsors, one-on-one coaching, and you can also make money through ad revenue, right? And notice I put ad revenue at the very end here because you're just getting paid by just creating these videos. And guess what? You can also expand your reach and repurpose your content on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, on X. And you can funnel these people back again to your YouTube videos, which will grow your audience even more and make you even more money. And once you do all that, you can even build a software down the road that charges a subscription to help your audience solve their problems. Now, this is a high-level strategy, but the beauty of software is that it is a recurring income. So something that you build once, and you let it run on autopilot so you can detach yourself from it. Now, as you can see, the beauty of all this is that you're not juggling 7 different businesses, but you're running one business with 7 different income streams. Now, I'm not saying that this is easy because it takes time to build an audience and you got to consistently put out good content. But here's the thing, you don't have to do it all at once. You can start here and you can start creating videos, and then you add a digital product, you add a mini course, you add a newsletter one by one. So you grow it piece by piece. And that's exactly how I started as well. Now, I want to give you guys a few examples of this. So Jeffrey here, he makes 5 figures a month helping people with relationships or marriage advice. He makes money from one-on-one coaching, his newsletter. And we've got Jack Roberts here. He's in the AI space, and he helps people build AI automations. So he primarily makes money from his memberships. He got one-on-one coaching as well. And you can see here that he has less than 40,000 subscribers, but his membership makes about $85,000 a month. So massive revenue with just a small audience. Another one, Christy here from Nurse in the Making. She helps nursing students study for their exams, and she monetizes her YouTube channel from selling digital study guides, she's got flashcards, and she makes about $400,000 a month just on her Etsy store. And that's not including the sales from her website and the ad revenue that she makes from YouTube. Now, if you notice here that she does have 200,000 subscribers, but you can see that the revenue she's bringing in is massive, right? $400,000. So the ratio is insane. Now, the next thing that people ask me is, what is the best niche to get into? So I have a separate module where I talk about how to find your perfect niche. But the first thing that I always tell them is that you got to think about what you're good at, right? So what do people come to you for help with? You can start there. So you can make some videos, you share what you know, and you build an audience of people who want to learn from you on that topic. Again, I do have a separate module on this, so I would encourage you to go to that module if you want to learn on how I would pick a niche. So this is an overview of the creator business model. So it's not about choosing between affiliate marketing, writing newsletters, or selling products. It's about doing all those things together, step by step, and they're all centered around you as the expert. And that's why I call this the expert-centered business. Now, in order to be successful as a creator on YouTube, you got to treat your YouTube channel as a business. Now, most people, when they hear about making money on YouTube, the first thing that they think about is probably AdSense, the ad revenue that you earn by having views on your videos. So the more views you get, the more you make. So I used to think of it this way too. That's why I created faceless channels when I started on YouTube. And one of the channels that I created was in true crime. And I specifically picked that niche because of the insane number of views some of the channels are getting. And 5-6 years ago, there was not a lot of channels around this niche. So there was a huge demand, but basically not a lot of supply. So new channels were blowing up. So I started my own channel. And my number one focus was for my videos to go viral, right? So I created videos to have that virality element to it. And yes, the videos went viral. So I got millions of views. And on average, I got about 500K views for every video, which is massive. Now, I made some good money with these channels, pretty good money actually, but it didn't last long. It wasn't predictable because the views were going up and down. It was so volatile, right? Now, to give you some context, the first 2 months, I probably made about $300 to $500 a month, which is 10 to 15K a month, which is massive, but it didn't last very long, right? So in the next few months, it dropped all the way to $2,000 and probably average out to about $1,500 a month. I mean, $1,500 a month is not small by any means, but you can see how volatile that is. And you can't really rely on this if you want to pay your bills. And because it was an entertainment channel, the income was just limited to ad revenue. And when your channel relies on ad revenue to make money, that is not a business, in my opinion. Now, can you make a lot of money with that sense? Sure. But remember, ad revenue is based on the number of views that you get. And the YouTube algorithm is always changing. And videos that you think will go viral, sometimes it doesn't. So you're really heavily relying on a lot of factors that you can't control, right? And you can't create a business around that. At least not a business that I want to be in. So what do we consider a business? Let's start by looking at the definition of a business, right? So a business sells a product or a service to a customer. So if you are a YouTuber just chasing views for ad revenue, that is not a business. The real business is actually YouTube because they're selling a product to their customers, right? And what is the product? The ad space. And if you think about it, you're actually building that product for them because you're the one cranking out videos while YouTube just sits back and watch the whole thing run itself. Or think about it like the newspaper business. So in that analogy, you're a reporter or a writer, you're working for that newspaper, right? You don't own the newspaper business. You have zero control of how many readers they get. You have no idea of how much revenue they're making. You write articles and you get paid. The newspaper agency is the business. You're just a contractor. Now, most YouTubers think that they are working for themselves. Oh, I have my own channel. I'm not working a 9 to 5, but they're actually working for YouTube as a contractor. So now the question is, what should you do instead? So you got to shift your thinking on how you view YouTube. So instead of working for YouTube, make YouTube work for you. Create a business, and then use YouTube to market your product or service. Think of YouTube as a marketing channel. So it's just a medium that you can use to reach your customers. Just like any other social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, these are all just mediums to reach more of your customers. Now let's break this down even further. So when you're just making videos for views, you're really at the mercy of YouTube, right? You spend hours creating a video. Sometimes you get a lot of views, sometimes you don't. That's just the reality of it. But when you're using YouTube as a marketing tool for your business, every video that you create has a purpose beyond just for getting views. Because now you have products and services to sell. So let's say you're a fitness trainer. So instead of thinking on how to create the next viral workout video, you can create a video to provide value to your audience while also highlighting that you also have a fitness program. So at the end of the video, you can provide a link for your audience so they can purchase your program, right? So now, even if your videos don't get millions of views, it's still driving traffic to your product, which will convert to sales. And many times the sales from your products will make you way more money than YouTube ad revenue. Now, another benefit of this is diversification. So when you're relying on AdSense, all your eggs are in one basket, right? If YouTube one day decides to monetize your videos, you're done. Or if your views drop, you're also done. But when you run this as a business that has multiple products, multiple offers, you have multiple streams of income, right? So you might have online courses, brand deals, coaching services, digital products, or even physical products, right? So YouTube becomes just one part of your marketing strategy, not your entire business model. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't monetize your YouTube channel through ads, but it just means that ad revenue is not your primary focus or main income source, right? It just becomes a nice bonus on top of the revenue that your business generates. Now, the next question here is why YouTube? Why is YouTube so powerful and why do I recommend people to start on this platform instead of other social media channels like Instagram, TikTok? Number one, YouTube is the only long-form video platform in the world. And as you know, it's owned by Google, which is the largest search engine in the world. So you get access to a massive user base. But now the question is, why is long-form content so important? And the answer is building trust with your audience. So imagine if someone watches a 10-minute video of you and they like your content and maybe they watch 2 more of your videos, and that's already 30 minutes a day. They're spending 30 minutes a day out of their busy schedule to listen to you. And then probably at the end of the week, maybe they do the same thing, right? So they would have watched an hour of you just in a span of 1 week. And that is significant face time. So if your content is valuable and helpful, that trust is built very quickly and very deeply. And you can't do that on Instagram or TikTok because the shorts are 30 seconds long and people are just doom scrolling. They watch you for 20 seconds and you're gone, right? It's incredibly difficult to build trust in 20-second videos. And number 2, YouTube is not just a video platform, but it's the second largest search engine in the world. Yes, there's a lot of entertainment content, but at its core, YouTube is actually a search-based platform. So people go to YouTube looking for answers to their problems. So whether it's how to get a six-pack, how to make money with real estate, people actually go to YouTube for solutions, right? And when you have a YouTube channel with a product or a service to sell, this becomes a goldmine. So imagine when someone types in a question, your video is right there, and it's helping them with that information. And at the back of it, your product is there to help them even further. And you can't do this as effectively on a platform like Instagram or TikTok because people don't typically use these platforms to search for solutions to problems. They are usually there to entertain themselves, right? And number 3, you get paid before even selling your own products. So what do I mean by this? So once you start creating videos, and obviously once you're monetized, you're going to generate revenue from AdSense, right? Now, I know I said not to focus solely on this, but it is a source of revenue and it pays way more than any type of ad revenue from Instagram or TikTok. And not to mention brand deals, where you get paid thousands of dollars for speaking about a brand for just 60 seconds in your videos. So just for context, I get paid about $6,000 to $8,000 per video for speaking about brands. Now, yes, you can get brand deals too from Instagram, but it pays much less just because it's a shorter video. And there's always a higher conversion on YouTube because the audience have a clear CTA link on every video description. And this doesn't exist on Instagram because people have to go back to your profile, go to your link in bio, and go through multiple links to find that correct link to the product, right? So it's a much less streamlined process. Therefore, you can see lower conversion rates on Instagram. Now, how do I find a profitable niche? Now, this is a very important step if you want to build a successful YouTube business. So it is worth taking the time to get this right. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have a niche. I have no idea to talk about. Don't worry, I have a separate, more detailed module on how to find a profitable niche. In that module, I'm going to teach you on how to use data, how to use signals to validate your niche, things to watch out for you so you don't end up in the wrong niche, and even some of the best niches to get into today, and the ones that will never die. But for now, I want to focus on these 3 critical elements that you must have regardless on the niche that you choose, right? So these are the three pillars that will make it much easier for you to monetize your business. I'm going to break down each of these for you. Now, by real problem, what I mean is a problem that is genuinely painful or frustrating to people, right? So the bigger the problem, the more value people will place on your solutions. So think about it. If someone's marriage is falling apart or their relationship is falling apart, that is a huge problem, right? And they're more likely to be very motivated to find a solution. Therefore, they're going to value your advice even more because they want to save their relationship, right? Or if someone's trying to make money trading stocks, for example, they want to know what things to avoid, how to get a better return, right? So these are all examples of real pressing problems that people are willing to pay to solve. So the key here is to really dig deep and understand the pain points of the audience in your niche. You gotta ask the questions like, what keeps your audience up at night? What are they desperately searching for solutions to? Because the more you understand their problems, the more valuable your content and your products will be. Now, secondly, you gotta be solving this problem for real people. Now, this might sound obvious, but it's really important to have a clear, specific target audience in mind. So don't fall into the trap of trying to appeal to everyone, because if you're targeting everyone, you're targeting no one, right? Are you targeting individuals or businesses? Men or women? What age group? What income level? What profession, right? The more specific you can be, the better it is for you. Because when you know exactly who you're actually targeting, it allows you to create content, and your products or services, they're going to be perfectly tailored to that specific audience. So for example, if you're in the fitness niche, if you say that, I want to target people who want to get fit, that is way too broad, right? But you should target a more specific audience, like maybe busy professionals in their 30s or 40s who want to work out from home without any equipment. And when you can get that specific, the product that you create will resonate more with that audience. They're going to say that, oh, this product or service is made specifically for me. Now, the third point here is real money. So what I mean by this is simply you want to target the people who have the means to pay for your services. So this might sound greedy, but I think it's just good business sense, because you're putting a lot of effort to create products, create services. It's only fair that you are getting paid for that work, right? So this doesn't mean that you only target wealthy people, but you do need to think about the financial capacity of your audience. Now, one other strategy is to focus on countries with higher average incomes, like the US, UK, Canada, Australia. These countries often have a larger pool of customers with more money to spend to solve their problems, right? But in saying that, it's not always about where your audience lives. So you got to think about the nature of your niche too. So if you're offering business advice for small business owners, for example, right? So your audience is going to be more likely to have some more money, and they're more likely to be willing to invest to grow their businesses, right? Now, remember, finding the right niche is a process. It might take some trial and error, and that's okay. But the most important thing is you want to start with these principles in mind. So if you guys want to learn about finding your niche, you want to go ahead and check out that module.